Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page. I'm sorry, that's my morning spiel. This is the evening. This is the mystery school. Oh my goodness. What time is it? What day is it, right? It's exactly true. Say, listen, this is the mystery school at Star Nations Radio Network, and it is Thursday night, June 28th. And we have such a show for you. Carl and Ortrun are with me here. We're going to bring them on. There we go. Here we go. And the show is all about death and beyond. And I tell you what, when we talked about this last month on the show, and Carl goes, I think that should be next month's topic. I'm going to be riveted tonight. And so thank you so much for bringing that topic to us, Carl. That's for sure. I am going to step out just for a second. I'm going to take myself, okay? And so I'm going to turn it over to Carl and Ortrun, and I will be back.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
I'm glad you're with us tonight. You're going to be hearing what I think is going to be a lot of new and strange information. And it comes almost exclusively out of my personal experience. And also the book Death and Dying by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a psychologist. And she wrote it in the 1970s. And death and beyond have been being researched ever since then. So we've got 40 years of research that is very consistent in the results. So anything you want to add here?
Well, all I'd like to do is I would like to actually do a little bit of centering so that we can bring ourselves together and so that all of us are joining together in our energies. And I have to say before I do that, I notice it looks like Diane Bodell might be on watching this evening. And so if she's out there, hello, it's good to see you. And I hope you're enjoying your new home down in is it Tennessee, I think. So let's just take a moment and allow ourselves to take a deep breath. And as you take this breath, find yourself beginning to already sense the presence of those that are the ones that are your spirit family. Coming and joining with us, not only your spirit family, but the masters and the guides that overlight this particular program. For there are certain ones that overlight us at this time, not only our personal guides and masters. So we welcome them so that we might be open and receptive to receiving their energies also. And as you feel their presence, sense the energies that are being surrounded around this program, around each and every participant that we will be a part of it, whether it be at this moment in time or whether they come and be with us later in time, so that they might be aware and open more fully to the understanding of that which is going to be spoken about this evening, death and beyond. And let your mind be quiet and gently absorb the melodies of love that are being sent to us from the heavenly realm, from the higher realm, surrounding us, protecting us, guiding us as we open ourselves up to receiving that which is of the highest essence for each and every one of us. That which will be presented may be heard in different forms that are appropriate for each one individually. Some may listen to every word that Carl is speaking. Others might be taken on a journey of their own experience Allow it all to flow. But recognize that you are totally, totally protected, and that you are open and receptive to receiving only that which is of the highest essence. You're all divine beings of light and love and peace and joy. Realize this and radiate this divine essence that you are from within to every part of you, the many bodies that surround you, as you merge them together in oneness, which allows you to grow and become ever more powerful and beautiful. And these energies that surround you are filled with love and light and peace and joy. And let us now join with those others that are part of this experience as we open a portal of light, a portal of energy that directs us of the highest, informs us from the highest, so that we might learn and grow and become in this, our journey upon beautiful Mother Gaia. And for this assistance, we are truly grateful and thankful. Allow yourself to bathe in this energy for just a moment. As we move in and begin this program. Carl, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ortrun. Thank you for setting the stage and the energy here.
Thank you.
I've been involved in research and experiences with death and dying and beyond for over 35 years. And it began actually just before Elizabeth Kubler-Ross wrote her book in the 1970s. And I would like to start with her book, because that's what really started the interest and the research in this whole area. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was a psychologist, and she had 3 patients who did not know each other, nor did they know about each other. They had each had what they call a near-death experience. That is where the physical body is certified dead. They flatline. And then at a later time, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes later, they were resuscitated. And these 3 people were part of the 30% of people who go through near-death experiences, who come back into their body remembering what they experienced while their body was dead. And the fascinating thing here is all 3 of her patients told her the same story. They all had had the same experience. Well, you can imagine how this piqued Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's curiosity. And from that point on, she stopped taking new patients and devoted her time to researching death and dying. And that research has continued. And there are, I don't know, 12, 100 people each day that die that are resuscitated. And again, roughly 30% come back with their memory intact. And the vast majority of those that do are telling the same story that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's patients told her. So there has got to be some reality behind that. Okay. Now, to understand death and what it is, we first have to understand who and what we are. When we say that a person has died, that's only partially true. What has died is their physical body. Now, you are not your physical body. If you were, you would be nothing more than a programmed robot. What makes you you is your mind and your emotions and your soul. Those three traits are not physical. They do not die with the physical body. And that is when those that were resuscitated, what they came back with proved that they had consciousness, they had free will, they had feeling, they were able to make and act on decisions. They were very much the same person without their body as they were with their body. Okay? So death is simply the death of the body. I like to phrase it that we have four different bodies. And they're four aspects of us. The physical aspect is the only one of the four that's temporary. The other three are eternal. And the other three are us. That is the person that we truly are. Our personality, values, beliefs, it's what makes decisions. Our physical body, we need that. In order to fully experience a physical reality, we need a body made out of the material of that reality. So our physical body is our house, our vessel, our vehicle, which has the five senses that allows us to experience this physical world. All right? Now, when a person dies, to me, it's always been fascinating that the heart stops and the brain stop at exactly the same time. Why? I mean, there's enough oxygen and nutrients in the brain for it to live up to 7 minutes without the heart beating. But they stop together. Why? And it isn't, the cause of death is not that the heart stops and the brain stops functioning. The cause is these three bodies, our mental, emotional, and spiritual body, which make up our astral body. When they leave the physical body dies because it has no life force of its own. Life force comes from the soul. Mm-hmm. And the soul gets its life force from the Creator. All right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So death is simply the separation of the astral body from the physical body. That is the root cause of it. And the astral body is us. We are exactly the same person after death as we were before, except we weigh 5/8 of 1 ounce, and that's actually been measured. All right? So that's the weight of the astral body. Wow. Now, comments or questions here?
Well, go ahead.
All right. What happens when the astral body leaves? This is according to the research on death and dying. The astral body rises out of the physical body. It hovers near the ceiling for a matter of maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds. It can see and hear everything being said and done. It can see its physical body. It does not have any desire to go back into its physical body. And then it feels like it's rapidly moving, they say, through space. But it can't be space because there is no light except one that's directly ahead of them. If it were space, there would be stars all over. They're really in a tunnel that leads to that light. And when they get to the light, it is a tunnel of light. And that is the entrance into heaven. All right. Now, with these people that are resuscitated, they get to the entrance to the tunnel and they pause. And they have a choice of going in or not going in. And what they find, they find that their mind is focused. Oh, goodness, my family. It's still, am I ready to leave my family? I've got so many dreams that I haven't had a chance to fulfill yet. Because their focus is back where they came from. Zap, they're back in their physical body. Okay? Now, for a person, it's their final exit point. That is, they're not going to go back, and their physical body literally will no longer support life. All right? So they're there, and they still have a choice. Do they want to go into that tunnel of light? Now, there's an intuitive feeling that if they go in, that lifetime is over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the ones that it's their final exit point, they can't go back. They can still choose to go into the tunnel, or they can choose not to go into the tunnel. Okay. And if they choose not to go into the tunnel is gone. It's disappeared. Mm-hmm. And they are in the astral plane. Now, if you can picture the Earth, and around the Earth is this ring of space, that's the astral plane. And if you go a second ring beyond that, that's the heavenly realm. Okay? Those that do not go into the heavenly realm are in the astral plane. Okay? And the astral plane is, well, it's an interesting place. There are all kinds of people there, as you can well imagine. And some of the people are grandmas who did not want to leave their grandchildren. They're just, really sweet people. And on the astral plane, we're not the age we were when we died, but rather we usually reach an age. We're at an age that we were at our peak in our physical body. Usually it's in the mid 30s. All right. Mm-hmm. And so it isn't, and we don't have any physical illnesses or infirmities or limitations. Our mind is good. Our body is good. And because they're on the astral plane, they seek out people that they're comfortable with. There may be some of their loved ones that are there. And if there aren't, they will seek out people of similar consciousness, similar values and beliefs. And if someone goes into the astral plane and they're fearful, boy, they're going to be these really strong beings that come up to them and say, "Hey, join with me, and I will protect you. I will keep you safe." All right. And what happens is, if you join with them, they take your energy. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they are people that probably in their physical life, they wanted power, they wanted control. Well, they're the same there as they were here. Okay. And there are various levels on the astral plane. At the lowest level is what the Catholic Church used to call purgatory.
Yeah.
All right. And there are some really powerful dark beings there that are controlling. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and also if you go into the astral plane, this grandma that wanted to be with her children and grandchildren, she did that so that she could go visit them. And you can do that from the astral plane. Mm-hmm. And they can. There's no problem going from the astral plane down here in their astral body and visiting. All right. But you can do the same thing from heaven, but they don't realize that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, in my experience, the people on the astral plane at some point are going to get frustrated. Their opportunities are limited. Growth is limited. It's not always the most pleasant place to be. And when they reach the point that they regret having not gone into heaven and they're now ready to go into heaven, where is the tunnel of light? Okay. And that's where I come in. I'm a spirit doula.
Yes, you are.
And I help people.
So are you. So am I.
Yeah, we really, all three of us are. Yeah. We help people to find the tunnel of light. Mm-hmm. And what I do, I ask their loved ones who are in heaven to come and be with them. Because these souls often have a problem with trust because they've been deceived so many times on the astral plane. Yeah. So we call on their loved ones because they will trust them. And we ask the loved ones to lead them to the angels that they're called the angels of transition. They help people transition from the physical life to the spirit life. Mm-hmm. All right. And the angels of transition always know where the entrance to heaven is. So they lead these people there. And some of these people still aren't quite ready. So we ask the loved ones to stay with them and to encourage them to go into the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And and if they need help, call in more loved ones. Yeah. Because it's important that they go into the tunnel. So, okay, now fine. They go into the tunnel. What happens? Well, I want to share, this is probably the most significant experience I've ever had in my lifetime. I do a clearing every morning, and I do it every evening. And it used to be that I would have, 10, 12, 50, maybe 25 when I did a clearing. Now it's in the hundreds and the thousands and even the tens of thousands each day. It's just, and you talk about, and poor Ortrun, she feels their energy.
Yeah.
When in the morning, have you done your clearing yet? Okay. And so I have to do it. And there's no way I can go to sleep at night if they're hanging around. So I have to do it at night also. So when they go into the tunnel, well, my experience here. I was in a clearing one morning, and this was, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And all of a sudden, I'm out of my body. I'm standing in front of the tunnel. Beings are rushing by me going into the tunnel. And they would get in various distances. There'd be a flash of light. The light would shoot up and they would be gone. Mm-hmm. But the energy coming out of the tunnel was beyond anything I have ever experienced in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. The love was so unconditional and total. And the peace that passes understanding, that's got to be where that came from. The most total, complete sense of peace. But the strongest feeling was a feeling of at one-ment. I felt I was at one with everyone and everything in the entire universe. I felt that the universe was within me and I was within all of the universe. The feelings were so strong. I wanted to go into the tunnel. But immediately there's an angel holding his palm up to me. Stop. No. It's not your time. You have work yet to do, and there's Ortrun. And zap, immediately I'm back in my physical body. Yeah. So the next day in my meditation, I asked, can you please explain to me what I witnessed happening in the tunnel? And they said, yes. They said, the further you go in the tunnel, the higher the frequency.
Oh, that makes sense.
When you reach the frequency of your consciousness, you are then joined by that part of you that never comes into the physical reality. That is your light body. And your light body contains all of your memory going back to when you were first given a soul.
Your soul inception, yes.
Yes. So the flash of light is when you merge with your light body and it shoots up into the heavenly realm. All right? Mm-hmm. And the fact that, different people are at different levels of consciousness, but the further you go in, the more it's an indication you're at a higher consciousness. Mm-hmm. Now, let me pause here. Any comments or questions before we get into the heavenly realm?
Oh my God. There's, I should have started writing things down. When you were talking about the astral plane, and where it's located, a ring around the Earth's surface, right?
Yeah.
There is a tradition in the Seneca Nation, which is out in New York. Okay, they're part of the Iroquois Nation, and how they view or understand the medicine wheel is that when a person's body dies, okay, is that on the medicine wheel, the spirit of the person is literally making the circuit around the medicine wheel, the wheel part, okay, not the interior, but the wheel part, and they enter that at the eastern door. They call it the golden door, and they go clockwise around the circumference of the wheel until they come back to the east again. And then they get a choice. Do they go back into the wheel, or do they go into the light, which is where the creator resides in the east when the sun comes up? But it's called the golden door.
Isn't the similarity remarkable here?
Remarkable. So those that are on the astral plane or in the astral plane, And they're the ones that come to do the visitations occasionally, right?
No,
No.
you can visit if you're in the heavenly realm too.
Either or,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking this is that this is the piece where when you are doing soul clearings or space clearings, when somebody is saying my house is haunted, right? Now, it's been my experience that those that are coming from the heavenly plane, they don't need to be moved on. They're just here just to say hello, and they don't mean any harm. They don't mean to be intrusive. They don't mean any of those things, and they're very easily to talk to. And they're, it's the ones that have trust issues that are harder to say that you can't be here. You need to leave. And then having their loved ones come to receive them. When we're doing those kinds of clearings, I'm going to ask this question. I kind of know the answer to it. So on our spiritual family, our spiritual team, we have those guides and teachers and helping us. Where do they reside?
They can reside in any number of places. The higher aspects of ourself reside on the dimension that they're at, and that we came through, either from or through. The angelic guides are on the angelic realm, and the spirit beings are on various dimensions with very specific functions. Okay. And we have two guides from heaven. They are with us, but they have come from heaven to be with us. Okay, so they come from a variety of places, a variety of dimensions, and our teachers also, who have graduated from the Earth School, and Ascended Masters have graduated from the Master's School, and they're functioning in higher dimensions. So it's a whole kamildamosh here.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's why when we're doing journey work, that shamanic work, the middle world, which is here, the dimension that is right next to this, and also the astral plane is the most challenging to work in, because you have a myriad of different vibrations within there. Yes. And who you're meeting, and the deception is still there. They try, the bad ones try to act like they're good, and they're not. Kimberly Wilson is saying, I am so thankful for Carl and the clearings he has helped me with, holding on to 3,000 at a time when I was in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is absolutely loaded with entities. They're astral plane entities, and they're there because they're probably addicted to excitement. They're addicted to winning. Okay. And one of the things that astral plane beings some of them are prone to do is, if they are addicted, they need a physical body to experience that.
Right.
If they need excitement, they need a physical body to experience that. And they will, if there is someone that can offer them what they want, they hover around them waiting for a break in their aura.
Yeah.
And then they will slip inside their aura, and they will try to influence them. They won't try, they will influence them and strengthen whatever that desire is within the person that can satisfy the need of this astral being. And they never come in single with just one. I've never worked with anyone that had less than 3. And usually it's not unusual to have 10 or 12.
Right, the tag team.
Yeah. If you have 10 or 12 people influencing you, it's almost impossible, one against that, to overcome that.
Right.
It's just really important that you protect yourself.
You protect yourself. You do what you need to do to keep your auric field nice and healthy and strong, right? And when you need to call and help.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
this is a really long one from Rob. We're going to read it, though. He says, my nephew died on Easter Sunday, 2017. All I knew was that something was very wrong. I got the news and knew what had happened. He was a cocaine addict. While he was clean at the time, like happens to coke addicts, his heart gave out. He was afraid to face karma because of the judgment taught in the esoteric teachings. I couldn't convince him otherwise. I called in his grandfather, who had drank himself to death, to help him home with the message, karma is not what you think.
Okay. Rob, I want to ask, did your grandfather complete his transition? No, he did not. Did your son complete his transition?
His
Nephew complete his transition? No, he did not. Okay. So your grandfather could not help him get into the heavenly realm because he was not there personally. Mm-hmm. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to out loud help those two gentlemen, give them another chance to go into the heavenly realm.
Yes.
Okay. Is that all right with you, Rob?
It's going to take we have a 5-second delay, so I'll take them a little bit to reply. Yeah. So, that karma thing, it does carry some fear with it, when people think that they have done something wrong and they'll never be balanced out, never be forgiven, and it can really cause problems.
That's one of the three reasons that people don't go into the heavenly realm. The biggest one is fear. And you're talking about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob says that he had doused himself and got the answer yes.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
Ortrun, will you do it and check this out here? I just want to let's double check it, Rob, okay?
Okay. Rob's grandfather, did he complete his transition? I'm getting a yes. Did Rob's nephew complete his transition? Yes.
Okay. Rob, you're right and I was wrong. Okay. So good. But what we do, had they not completed their transition, we would have called in loved ones. And as we said, led them to the angels of transition. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the fear that people might have when they die, feeling I'm not good enough, I'm a sinner, etc. There is no judgment when you die. There is absolutely no judgment. And the heaven or hell of it for each of us is we can never, ever escape living with ourselves. Yeah. If we have created ourselves to be a person that we love, that we honor, that we respect, that we enjoy, that's our heaven. If we have created ourselves to be a person that we don't trust, that we really don't like, that we don't enjoy, that's our hell. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And whether we're in the astral plane or the heavenly plane, we have to live with ourselves.
Yep.
Okay. Let me go back to what happens if you go into the tunnel of light. You shoot up into heaven. There's not a single answer here. I want to tell you a story. When I was in my 20s, a family that I was very, very close to. He was a blue collar, a simple man. She was a teacher. And they would often have me over for Sunday dinner. I was a single guy. And Fred developed cancer, and he was in the death process. And I went to visit him. And I asked him, Fred, what do you think is going to happen to you when you die? And he got this most blissful look on his face. And he says, when I die, God's going to hold me in his arms and rock me like a baby. And Fred he knew that. That was his truth. And that's exactly what happened to Fred. If we have strong expectations about what is going to happen to us when we die, one of the jobs on the other in the heavenly realm are actors or actresses. They will act out what you expect to happen. Now, I'm sure after a while, he thought, well, hey, there's got to be more than this, And so then the actors create, what they imagine or what they think will satisfy Fred,
Right.
that will lead him to the reality that's there for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
What I see most often when a person dies, and most people don't have a strong expectation, all right? What I see is when they shoot up into the heavenly realm, they go into what I call the welcome center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a large room. And in that room are all of the people they have ever been close to through all of their lifetimes who are currently at heaven.
Right.
And it's like this wonderful, wonderful family reunion. There are hugs all around. Well, you talk about the stories they share.
Yeah.
It's joyful and it's loving and it's beautiful. And as that winds down, there are usually two beings that will hold back and say, come on, we'll take you home. And these are the two beings that are closest to them in consciousness.
Uh-huh.
And they will then take them to the level of heaven that is at their level of consciousness. And we each have a house there.
Mm-hmm.
And they take us to our house and help us get settled in.
Oh, that's so good. That is good. We have one more question here that I'm going to put up because it might take a little bit. Lisa's asking, what happens when you reincarnate?
Okay. If you can hold that, Lisa, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, after you're settled in, you will likely, one of the first things you'll do is you'll likely go for a life review. And this is going to be everything that's been significant in that lifetime is going to flash in front of you. And this is for you, gives you the ability to see things that you may have missed when you were there in physical form. And what you're going to be looking at most deeply is not necessarily what you did, but what was your motivation in doing it or not doing it. Okay? What was your intention? And you really get to know yourself better looking at it from that level, from that depth. It's from an internal depth. And then over time, you will decide what you want to do. And there are a number of jobs, and they're all service oriented on heaven. And you can also choose to go to school to further your education. And the most popular job in heaven is to be a guide for someone that's here in physical.
Yeah.
And to be a guide, you have to be a couple of steps ahead of the person you're going to guide. How do you guide if you're not ahead of them? And because Earth is a school and they can grow faster here than we can in heaven, when they catch up to you, then you will leave and another more advanced guide will come to them. And there may be a month or two in between where you only have one guide, okay? But anyway, and when you are ready, and you're ready to come back to this Earth school, you will spend 20 or 25 years working with your spirit family, same spirit family you have here, except you probably won't have the teachers there, but you will have the angels, the same angels. You'll have the higher aspects of yourself, and you will plan your lifetime. And planning it, you're picking your parents, your siblings, you're picking your friends, you're picking potential vocations, you're picking spouse or spouses, you're picking all of the major experiences in your life. And it's all centered around your life script. And your life script has two parts to it. What are you going to learn in this lifetime? And secondly, what service are you going to give? So you build these people and experiences and events and circumstances and challenges around those two things, what you want to learn, the service you want to give.
Yeah.
And when the timing is right, then the pregnancy and the birth and so on takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So you come in then with a new body, and your light body leaves you, so you've left your memory behind. All right. So you come in with a clean slate.
Except for the children that are born now, because we had this discussion the other was it last month. You said that more children are coming in with more intact memories of their past lives or their parallel lives.
Yes. Not a full memory, but points of memory that can be helpful to them in this lifetime. Yes, that's correct. Thanks for reminding.
I'd like to ask a question. So the way that you describe where you go to the heavenly plane when you pass, make your transition and so on, how does that tie in with that what you experienced in the tunnel of light when you were there, or that they merged with their light body and flashed up.
Okay, I didn't go into the tunnel. I was out.
No, I know you were watching that.
Yeah.
But that's what you saw. So, but how do you explain that? Because that, to me, when you say that, it's like that's when they joined with that. It seems like that would be beyond going into this life review and everything else that you're talking about, or is that something that happens at that particular level?
No, okay. They in the tunnel. They're joined with their light body. They're reconnected with their memory. In essence, what we do is we trade our physical body for our light body.
Okay.
And our light body is a part of that review. It's a silent part of that review. And all of that lifetime is now implanted in our light body, because that's now a part of its memory. Yeah. And then in the life review, our motivation for doing what we did or did not do also then becomes a part of the data bank in the light body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That handle that?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else here?
I think we kind of answered Lisa's question, but I'm going to put it up there again. She says, what happens when you reincarnate? If there's anything you wanted to add to that.
When you come back in, you do not come in with generally, certainly not with your memory intact. There may be points of memory that come back with you, but you come back with a predisposition to develop in a way similar to what you were in your last lifetime, but because of your life script, you probably have a different orientation and perhaps a different motivation to head in a somewhat different direction. There's no sense in going down the same road.
Right.
Yet you don't want a completely different road either.
No, but you know that with the reincarnation, is that we do have the ability to be able to pull forward those life lessons, the gifts that are useful in this particular lifetime from those past experiences. So it's not necessarily we have to start over from scratch, that we can pull those gifts, those experiences that are useful to complete what we came here to do in this particular lifetime or that particular reincarnation.
Neshi, another thing that I find fascinating is our past lifetimes will be a strong determining factor in the DNA that we come in with.
Yes.
If you reached a high level of consciousness in your past lifetime, you will not come in with the normal 20 active codons. You will come in with more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And the geneticists in studying this have found that these special people will have anywhere from 21 to 24 active codons.
Yeah.
They also come in with higher IQs,
mm-hmm.
and they will come in with varying amounts of crystal and indigo energy.
Mm.
So the person that we have created ourselves to be in this lifetime has an eternal consequence.
Yeah.
Because it determines and plays a role in determining who we're going to be in our next lifetime, and it carries on down.
Yeah. Now, see, I've always had a thing about this measurement of time that we did to ourselves, man-made measurement. See, I don't completely believe in past lives. I believe in parallel lives because there's no measurement of time and space when you're in spirit. So everything is happening concurrently at the same time. So when we're here in this physical body and we're having to deal with linear time, I think that's another one of those things that we did to ourselves. So
I want to ask, what do you think is the difference between reincarnation and incarnation? I'd like to throw that out to both of you, really.
Okay.
Because I tend to like to use the term incarnation instead of the reincarnation. To me, when think of reincarnation, I feel like it is a reentry. Yes, it's a reentry into the planet, but it's incarnation seems like to me it's somewhat different because when it's like you're re-entering into the okay. For instance, the Buddhists they believe that you can come back as a fly. Yes. It's very, very different, than progressing what we would consider, in a sense. It's really not, I guess, because upward, we think that, we're progressing this way, and you think that there are different
perspectives
levels, because I think with the reincarnation, to me, that tends to focus more on the ones that came into the planet through the evolutionary path, where incarnation is more like the descending being, from my perspective. Yeah. But I'm just wondering what you think about that.
Yeah.
Because I know that, that gets tossed around, and people have meanings.
I really do think that it's your belief system.
Okay.
And the use of the word, because for me, reincarnation, when it comes to, because that's kind of linked to karma. Okay. And so that in order to balance out the karma, you have to be in a physical form, because your karma was created in physical form. So in order to balance it out, you have to come back into a physical form to do what you need to do to balance it out. Right. And so, but that doesn't mean that it's the earth either. It could be any physical form. And I agree with you in the incarnation, that's more of, for me too, is more about that descending being. And then with the work that I did with Drunvalo, that we have these entry points, like in our, how do I want to say this? Through the pineal gland, there is a descending coming down, and so you get through the chin, right? And that's why sometimes you see, especially in Egyptian, you saw that like the pharaoh and stuff would have this thing on their chin, right? And they're descending. So, I lean more toward the incarnation rather than the reincarnation.
What do you
think? I understand it.
I think that we all are all now in an incarnation.
Yeah.
And if we come back again, that will be a reincarnation into a new carnation.
Yeah.
It's dealing with past, present, and future.
Exactly.
And incarnation is present.
Yes.
Okay.
It's right here now. Yep, I agree. And basically that's what I was saying about that measurement of time, is that sometimes I feel more comfortable in thinking that everything is happening right now. It kind of relieves some of the stress about, what did I do in the past and what am I going to do in the future, because it's all right now. Rob, I think we answered that question. He said, does it have to be on this planet or even in this galaxy? I don't believe so. I think we can incarnate it anywhere.
And I want to comment, I agree. I want to comment on Ortrun's comment about the Buddhists, they can come back as a fly. The work that I do with some of the more darker beings, I hear them being given a choice. They can go to a light school, reverse the direction that they've been traveling, or they can come back as a creature, and what the creature is will be determined on their level of consciousness. Mm-hmm. Which means it could be a bacteria or a virus or a fly or,
Yeah.
Okay? But not on this planet. They're not allowed to come back here. They'll be on another planet.
Oh, they've been 86th from Earth, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just want to share. This is, I think it's a great experience I had, but it was because there are the ones that stay behind in the astral plane because they do really care about something or a place or to protect a place or help their loved ones. And they just really don't know any better that they can actually do this, from the heavenly plane, because they feel like if they go into the heavenly realm, that they won't be able to perform, the work that they feel that they were meant to perform. And one of the experiences I had down in Florida is there's this beautiful, beautiful. It's not a large Indian mound, but it's an Indian mound, and it's right next to this river. It's very close to where we live when we're in Florida. And the very first time that we visited there, there are all these squirrels running around all over the place, and these squirrels they were pestering Carl to no end, and they kept wanting to go up his pant leg, and he says, "Let's get out of here! I can't." They wouldn't leave him alone. And so we did. We didn't stay very long, but I said to Carl, on the way home, and I felt this way. I felt it was really true. I said, I think that those squirrels are there protecting that Indian mound.
Probably.
And so anyhow, I went back the next year. I told my son about it because I wanted to have him experience that mound to begin with. And so we went over there, and my son went off one direction because and not onto the mound at this point. And I sat in the car for a few moments, and I basically communicated, with these squirrels, and asked if that's what they were actually doing, was protecting, this mound. That they put themselves into that kind of a form.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Oh, we lost them. Here they are. They didn't go very far. They'll be here in just a second. All right. I don't know what happened.
So anyhow, I had them move to the heavenly realm, and it was very, very interesting because it wasn't. We went back later to that mound, and the squirrels were gone.
Oh,
They were not there anymore.
yeah.
But my son was with me still because he was with us for a week, and he actually said, "Can we go? Are we allowed to walk up there?" It was a small mound, but I said, "I always go up there. I always felt comfortable going up there." I said, "I'm sure we can." So we went up there. I mean, the energy was just amazing. It's amazing. It was not a large mound, but there are people everywhere on the I'm going to say mainland. And we walked up this mound, and the energy was totally, totally different. It was this amazing, beautiful, beautiful silence. And it was so interesting to think that these people, and even children running around and playing, no one went on that mound. It was totally empty.
Uh-huh.
We were the only ones up there. So it was definitely being protected. And so it wouldn't be invaded by the energies that weren't meant to be there. Yeah. It was really quite interesting because after like I said, I worked with them, and then we went back and they weren't there anymore. So, yeah. So sometimes beings get stuck. They feel like they're there to do good work.
Yeah.
And I know we've had those experiences, Carl and I have at, like spiritual churches, all these individuals that was so involved, and they were the founders, and they put so much energy into this place. And you walk in, and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't even hardly stand it because you can feel all this energy pushing at you, and then moving them, having them recognize that they really can do this from a different space.
Yeah.
And clearing that air. And so if people would learn and know that whatever they don't have to be stuck on or just above the earth plane, the world itself, to help.
Yeah.
It could be so much easier for all of them. So.
Yeah. Neshi, we've just got a couple of minutes left here. I'd like to stress a point here.
Sure.
At some point, all of our physical bodies are going to die. All right. And all of our physical bodies, unless we have a real strong preconceived notion, we're all going to end up at the tunnel of light. I can't stress heavily enough. Please, please go in. Do not hesitate. Go in. And it's to the highest good of everyone that goes through who lose their physical body to go into that tunnel of light and into the heavenly realm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say necessarily that the astral plane is for losers or people with poor self-images, but the heavenly plane, it's so much happier, so much more joyful. If you want to reincarnate, you cannot reincarnate from the astral plane. It has to be from the heavenly plane.
That's right.
So, and on the heavenly plane, you're going to have so much support. There's not going to be the threat or the violence or the fear. And there are so many more opportunities in the heavenly plane. There is no drawback on the heavenly plane in comparison to the astral plane.
Right.
Don't even think about not going in. Go in. All right. It's for your highest good to do that.
Right. Because we have soul growth, whether we're here in the physical body or whether we're in the heavenly body. Right.
Yeah, but the astral plane is kind of like a state of limbo.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say the astral body. I said the heavenly body, the heavenly realms. Yeah. Is that we have, that's where those two places is where we have the most experiences to help our soul grow. Right. Yeah. And, I have to say that, because mom just turned 99 on June 8th. We've had that discussion. It's not an easy one to have with anybody really that you're really close to. But I think it's an important one. And especially in her belief is that you don't talk about these things, And so I was kind of breaking a belief system there because I sat with her and I said, I know I want to talk about something that you don't want to talk about, but I think it's important. And so we did. And I said, when that time comes, Mom, you can actually ask right now who you'd like to have meet you, and when they come is to go with them, even if it's your mom, because her and her mom didn't really get along very well. And I said, even if it's grandma, because she's full of love. And so she loves you. And so if grandpa comes, go with them. Go.
Yeah.
There's no reason to stay.
How did she respond to that?
At first she was like, oh, doesn't want to talk about this, and she goes, I never thought about that. I don't know. I'm going to have to consider this. Can I have more than one? I said, you can have as many as you want.
Yes, absolutely.
You can have everybody in the clan show up if you want.
Yeah.
I said, you're not restricted to number. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm sure Dad will be there. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't he be there? And so it started her to think about it. And I said, when you see the light, when you see that doorway, go. There's no reason to hang back because we're all fine here. You raised us to be independent and to have common sense. So go.
I think it's when they are in the heavenly realm, they can be a lot more helpful to us than they can if they stay in the astral plane.
Mm-hmm.
So in either place, they have the right to come back and visit anytime that they choose to come back.
Right. Yeah, they don't need passports or anything like that. They can just come.
That's right.
They don't even need a driver's license.
No ID whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. So we are at the top of the hour. Ortrun, did you have something you'd like to add to that?
Well, I just wanted to mention that, that so many of us have loved ones that that are close to doing the transition, or we know people that are just living, they're just existing here upon the earth plane. And many of them are what they're doing is they're hesitating and going on. They don't want to die. They're afraid to die because they don't know where they're going to end up. So if you are in that position to, really allow them to know that, there's no judgment. That's the main thing. There is no judgment.
And there's no hell.
And right. Because everything is sacred. Everything is divine.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had, and they have all had the experiences they were meant to have in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. So, because I think that many of them, that they hang on and hang on and hang on because they don't feel that they are worthy, or they don't know where they're going to end up For instance, like your mother. What was it with your mother? She was afraid. She thought she was going to hell. His mother did.
Yeah.
And that reason why she felt she was going to go to hell is because she married a man who had been married before.
Right. So it's around a belief system that they were taught probably when they were quite young.
Yes. And so if you have that opportunity to be with someone to assist them, direct them, have them recognize that, you are always loved. And then maybe, as we talked about, we're spirit doulas, have them experience, feel yourself being held by the arms of God, of the Creator, of the divine, and how they're just holding you to their bosom, and feel as the divine goddess, holding you as your mother. And that's how you're loved. And so to move on into that, to feel comfortable moving into it, because you are truly loved.
Right. Well, I know what I've decided I would like to happen. I want a party. When I get to the lobby there, to the welcome room, we're going to have a party. We're going to celebrate.
Yes, because you've done a tremendous thing down here. And, you've learned many things, not only for yourself, because as Carl said, this all goes into, your light body, but you left it here also for the Akashic records so that others could tap in, so they could learn quicker from what you have learned and gained, and not just of the earth Akasha, but, it's the whole, in all dimensions, really. It's part of the creation, is part of that. So anyone can come and tap in. And learn, from the experiences that we've had, whether we consider them good or bad.
Right.
So,
with that, I got that going on. It's that party. With that, enjoy the rest of your evening. And we want to thank everybody for being here with us. And those that will be listening or watching through the recorded video, we appreciate that too. And enjoy the weekends coming up. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back next month with the Mystery School, the last Thursday of the month.
Yes. Saw some familiar faces scrolling by. So, you all have a wonderful time. And I'm so glad that you are tuning in and being part of this program with us. We truly appreciate and enjoy you. Yeah. Some of them that we haven't seen for a long time. So, physically. So right there, there's Diane. She's moved on us. And there's Rochelle. I see that. And, there's Lisa and many, many people that it's just wonderful. And we are a community here. It's interesting how we have formed a community on a scale, even though we're physically together. We've got this thread that runs between all of us now. So, so it's a privilege to be part of that. Thank you. And thank you, Connie, and everyone else.
Yes. Right. We'll see you next month on the Mystery School. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Have a blessed month.